Son, the Holy Ghost in me.
Well, okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have breaking news. End times 4565. Just got it off the wire, Fox News. It says here, 1 killed, 1 injured during arrest of Amon Bundy, leader of Oregon standoff. The leader of a group of armed protesters who had occupied a federal wildlife refuge in eastern Oregon for 24 days was arrested along with 4 others late Tuesday after an armed confrontation left 1 person dead and another injured. The FBI said authorities arrested Amon Bundy, 40, his brother Ryan, 43, Brian Culver, 44, Shauna Cox, 59, and Ryan Payne, 32, during a traffic stop around 4:25 p.m. local time on Highway 395. 2 other people were arrested separately in the nearby town of Burns. They were identified as Joseph Donald Shaughnessy, 45, and Peter Santilli, 50. I find it interesting that those 2 guys were in town when that happened. The FBI said all those arrested face a federal felony charge of conspiracy to impede officers of the United States from discharging their official duties through the use of force, intimidation, or threats. The FBI also said 1 individual who was a subject of a federal probable cause arrest is deceased. I don't know how you identify that. A probable cause arrest is deceased. No other information about the deceased was immediately released, pending formal identification by a local medical examiner's office. Another unidentified person suffered non-life-threatening injuries and was arrested. Now check this out. Remember now, I lived there for 17 years, right there where this happened. So now, check this out. For those of you who don't know, it says the protesters were heading to a public meeting in the town of John Day about the occupation of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge when there was a confrontation with law enforcement on the highway, law enforcement officials told Fox News. Now, if these guys were on their way to John Day, that's a pretty good ride. That's a pretty good ride from Burns. So, I'm just thinking that's an awful long road trip when you have all this stuff going on here when you're there taking over the wildlife refuge and you're, trying to run the town of Burns and you seem to be, in control and you're gonna hop in your vehicle and drive all the way to John Day with John Day's up in the mountains in the middle of, that's even worse than Burns Nowheresville. These cats are going to John Day. Well, that don't make no sense. And what's Santilli doing in town when that happened? Why wasn't he at the refuge? I'm just saying. There's too many questions, always questions about this thing. And the protesters going to John Day. Okay. The Harney County Hospital in Burns is on lockdown out of concern that the protesters may cause a disturbance there. Amon Bundy's group, calling itself the Citizens for Constitutional Freedom, seized the refugees' headquarters on January 2nd as part of a long-running dispute over public lands in the West. Specifically, the group wanted federal lands turned over to local authorities. The U.S. government controls half of all land in the West. And I see they didn't make that happen. Federal law enforcement officers converged on the wildlife refuge after the arrests and were expected to remain at the site throughout the night. It was unclear how many members of the armed group, if any, were at the refuge when law enforcement arrived. So then, when they hit the guys in the car, at the same time the FBI hit the refuge, the buildings, but they're not telling us how many was in the buildings or what happened to them. But they said they're going to stay there overnight. So I guess they got it. I guess they took it over, and hopefully ain't nobody going to get killed over there. Amon and Ryan Bundy are the sons of Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy, who was involved in a high-profile 2014 standoff over grazing rights. Protesters, including people from as far away as Arizona and Michigan, they were there. And it says here, it calls federal land restrictions and object to the prison sentences of two local ranchers, which is the Hammonds. Okay, and so here we have the end. It would seem the end of the Bundy situation in Burns, Oregon, and it seems as though it's been a complete takeover now by the FBI, and the Bundys were Bonnie and Clyde down the road. They pulled a Bonnie and Clyde on them down the road as they was on their way to John Day, which is even further away up in the mountains. It don't make no sense. That's too long. I'd be saying, you know what, John Day's a little too far to go. Can't we send Bubba? I mean, come on, man. That's too far. But at any rate, they had a whole carload, it sounds like, and they were all on their way to John Day. And they got there John Day, didn't they? And they didn't get nothing. They didn't get nothing turned over to nobody. Nothing's ever happened, and they made a lot of noise, and now everybody's going to go to jail. And you got to wonder, there's not going to be probably any bail or anything for these cats. They're probably going to hold them up and put them in a federal jail because they committed Class A felonies. I mean, they're all laying down on a felony, and that's the end. So the question is, on Wednesday, tomorrow morning, what's going to happen now? I mean, what's going to happen now? All these little groups going to start to explode now because they're mad that now the Bundys are in jail. The Hammonds are in jail. Now the Bundys are in jail. How about you? You next? You want to go to jail? I mean, come on, man. Let's go to jail. That's insanity. That's complete insanity. This is not the way to do it. It's not the time. The time is coming, but it's not yet. It ain't yet. But it's coming. Oh, it's coming. But it ain't yet. And so, there's your update. Seems to be on lockdown. And I'll be looking and searching tomorrow morning for more information. Wonder what's going to happen next. Meanwhile, look out, look out. Look out, look out. Don't let the FBI find you out and get blindsided.
Pardon me, I've got something to say. When soul goes tired, the devil he comes to play. This old cat's been sitting on a fence too long. Jesus is a light in my corner, darkness is long gone. What was I thinking? Did I think I was fooling? The devil's out cold on the floor. It's Jesus with the TKO. The combination can't be beat. I got the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost in me. So you think you're stuck in a desperate situation? Come on, he'll lead you away from temptation. Call his name right now, you ain't got time wide. The alley don't seem so dark with the light of Jesus Christ. Lord, I really must have been dreaming. I pray, then I pray some more. Beelzebub hits the floor. The demons all run for the door. It's combination 1, 2, 3. I got the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost in me.